Earlier this week, we got to see all of the stunning looks from the Met Gala. Joining us now to talk about the New Jersey natives who lit up the red carpet is Engie Hassan, fashion stylist and costume designer. Engie, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me again. Happy Friday, guys.
Happy Friday.
The Met Gala is one of my favorite days ever.
You know what I love about the Met, it's just so much fun because it's not like there's not a whole award show to watch, which I appreciate. And I love the costume. And Engie, you're a costume designer too. Like, I love the costume element. You know, it's not just get dressed up. It's like go over the top. You know, it's a full-blown circus.
Yes, and so many people crossed the river from New Jersey to make a statement. So tell us about the New Jersey natives that made a splash.
I actually think a lot of them came out from New Jersey natives that were exciting and different. And so Cardi B went and she was wearing Versace. She was Versace's guest. It was all embellished gold Versace chains that we're so used to seeing just like as a little accent on like a blazer or on a skirt. And then she wore it as like a complete dress. It was just intertwined as a total dress with the chains. And it gave me definitely the theme Gilded Age. It was like mesmerizing. Her silhouette looked great. Joe Jonas was there with his wife and they both wore Louis Vuitton. I appreciate him because it was also about white tie, which is like a higher level than black tie, and you have to wear, you know, that aesthetic. And he's still like, they transitioned it to keep it inspiring and cool, and he added a little embellishment on the actual peacoat of it, so that was really fun to see. He didn't overdo it, which I also like, because I think sometimes, like, you know, it can look more costume than custom, so it's really important to like still show that like you're coming for the exhibit, like you're not actually part of the exhibit. And you know what I'm saying? Like,
I like that, and I like that distinction.
Yeah. So like, there has been a lot of that kind of like conversation going on about the Met lately. But also, I really loved Sebastian's look. Sebastian Stan, he wore Valentino. He was wearing all bright pink, and I think for me it was kind of like, well, like, I wouldn't see him wearing something like that. And I was like, I wanted to understand like what was the purpose. And then like I was doing some research, and you know, everyone has their thoughts of it. And it was like, this is the American fashion of like what he wanted to emulate with his team of stylists and in the designer Valentino. And it was like the fashion house Valentino, excuse me. And they pretty much were, you know, wanted him to look like, you know, wearing something more ready to wear than like the white tie, which I understand, because I feel like in America, we do wear more casual, sometimes two black tie things lately because of COVID and everything. So it's like, you know, you don't have to wear this bow tie.
Engie, it's funny that you mentioned that, because I've always found that, especially in my travels to Italy, just because I have family there, and I do find, I think they'll tell you, at least my family has said, the way that they're very easily able to pick out an American is the casual way that we tend to dress.
Oh, interesting.
That, you know, and if you walk around, and again, I can only speak to Italy in my own travels, but they do tend to dress up more just in their day-to-day life. There's not that kind of, you know, sneakers and sweatpants look that we, you know, that's how I go to the grocery store.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, they put lipstick on to go run an errand.
Yes, absolutely. So, Engie, back to the Met. In your opinion, who was best dressed overall and why?
Well, now, like, I actually, like, I have my list, and then I just was, like, today looking again for, like, New Jersey, and I took a moment, I really appreciated Alicia Keys and Swiss Beats' look. They were dressed by Ralph Lauren, which is an American designer, and I think, you know, when we're in America, as Americans going to these events, it is so important to wear our designers and, like, showcase them and their talent and creativity. And her dress was, like, yes, it was beautiful and, you know, couture and all that, but her cape had the whole like skyline of New York.
I saw that. It was so cool.
Building, and you know, it does go into her music, and I know she sang a song about New York, but it was just kind of like, you know, it kind of was breathtaking. I was like, that's like our home. That's New York. That's, you know, that's where we get inspired in the actual New York City like fashion house all creates in the vision of it. And Swiss Beats wore like, you know, he still wore the white tie, but he added onto it a Yankees jacket. And I thought that was really interesting because I do think of the Yankees when I think of New York and fashion. You know, that people wear that all the time as a part of their staple.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, really quick, my favorite, I mean, they're not New Jersey people. Blake Lively.
Blake Lively.
Knocked it out of the park like no other.
that whole change mid stairway, I was like,
Yeah.
But she had the constellations of Grand Central Station
Yes.
embroidered onto the train. And I mean, she looked like a queen.
yeah.
She did. And also, like, so Versace dressed her, and they're like the dynamic duo. She should just always wear Versace. Like, she just
Yeah.
flawless. Like, and her tiara was actually inspired by the Statue of Liberty. So
Yeah.
it was, she had like every kind of like architecture that you think about of the New York within her clothing, and that was really interesting. I really loved other people too. I enjoyed like seeing the younger generation, Maud and also Sydney from Euphoria. They were so Maud was wearing. She was hello.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we got
we're
you.
Okay, and she was wearing, and then she was wearing that, and then I thought that was really great that they were wearing something more, I wouldn't say conservative, but more old Hollywood, and it wasn't so the way that they would do it back then. Like, you know, they were just doing what is new, but still classy, and like they're going to the Met and got invited and excited. And I thought that was really great to hopefully transition to the younger market, being like, you can wear these styles, have fun in it, go to events in it. I really loved what other people wore, like Kerry Washington. She looked amazing. She was dressed by Tory Burch. For me, another, again, American designer, was great. It wasn't something that you would think Tory Burch would ever, you know, design. It was very sheer. You could think it's intimate apparel, but the difference compared to everybody else that was on the red carpet, it wasn't sheer in certain areas. That was, you know, what everybody else does. Like, you would think it's like, is this intimate apparel or is this like an evening wear gown? She looked flawless. It was just gorgeous to me. I loved
Yeah.
it so much.
Well, there's what, 361 days until the Met next
Gala.
year. So counting down the days. Engie, thank you so much for coming on here. I know that you've been at the Met, you've styled people at the Met. We were playing pictures of that, you know, during your segment. So keep doing what you do. Where
Thank
can
you.
people find out more about you?
You can go to engiestyle.com.
Great. Thanks,
Thank you
Engie.
so
And
much.
happy Mother's Day.
Happy Mother's Day. Thank you.